Hey folks, Josiah here. I'm out hiking, which is something I do a lot. I love hiking. I think this is the 49th hike I've taken this summer. So I'm almost up to the big 5-0. I have to do something special for my next hike, but I am out here and I have just discovered for the first time an amazing place called Church's Pond. And let me tell you, it was worth the journey. I'm out for about a 10-mile hike today. I'm hiking on something called the Jones Whites Loop. There's a creek near here called Jones Creek and another creek called Whites Creek, and each of them has a trail that go along them. I keep hearing rustling over that way, so I'm looking to see if people are approaching or perhaps I'm about to be eaten by a grue or something. But so anyway, the Jones Trail and the Whites Trail meet, and there's this big loop trail that they make, which they call the Jones Whites Loop. So I'm hiking that today. That's about a 9-mile loop. And then there's this little detour you can take off of it and hike up a little ways up into the hills a little more to a place called Church's Pond, which I had never actually been to before. And I had heard that it was kind of a tough climb hike up to Church's Pond, but I've got to say it seemed pretty easy today. And now that I'm here at the actual location of Church's Pond, I am pretty blown away. I mean, I had to make a video because I am really just deeply awed by the majesty and the inexpressible beauty of nature. So I'm about to flip the camera around here in a second and show you Church's Pond, which is a rare treat because many people probably don't ever come here and film this place. But so you probably haven't seen this before, but it's probably should be considered one of the wonders of the world, I think, because it's impressive. Just prepare yourself right now. I'm gonna do that's the camera flipping sound effect, and I'm gonna flip the camera now so that you can. How do I even do that? Hold on. Apparently I'm failing at camera use. There's like normally a little normally there's maybe I can't do it while the camera is okay. Then I'm going to turn the camera off, flip it around, and then yeah, so you'll see what happens. So there it is, Church's Pond, and I know it's amazing, isn't it? Let's just go all around it because you can see my shadow there. There it is. Wow, Church's Pond. And you see the scenery around here is, well, out of all the places I've hiked, I'm not going to lie to you, this is not like the best scenery per se. I mean, I had some nice vista views on my way up here because just hiking up this trail in the direction that I went, it was a very steep climb. There was a lot of elevation gain. And at a couple points going up all the switchbacks and stuff, I had breaks in the trees and I was able to look out over some pretty awesome vistas. I should have stopped and taken video then, but I didn't. And now here I am at my destination. I mean, it's not really my destination. I'm making a full loop. So I'm only about a third of the way through my hike right now. I've only gone about probably 3.5 or maybe nearly 4 miles. And I think my total hike's going to be about 10.3 miles. But so this is it. The awe-inspiring. Yeah, we'll just walk along it like, I should set this to some dramatic music, I should just, like really dramatic, like not even like mess around with real classical music, but just go straight to like some, I don't know, like some crazy like movie soundtrack stuff, or like 2 Steps from Hell, or like, I don't know, real dramatic though. So now I get back in the shade. I'm in the shadow of this tree. Which is pretty cool. There's a rock. Look at that. Hey, rock. There's my... What? Hold on. I'm having issues here. There's my foot in my hiking boot right there. So you get to see that. But yeah, here it is. I mean, I guess I'll approach closer so we can really bask in the beauty of these pristine waters. And such a vast body of water it is too. Boy, I bet I could set some sort of record by swimming across this, and by swimming, uh-oh, I'm starting to sink into some nasty shit, so I think that's about as far as we're gonna walk, but, and by swim across, I mean wade across. This is kind of like, I don't know, it's not good, really. I was expecting more. So this is the natural beauty we have here in Nevada. No, in all seriousness though, at other places very near here, because I'm technically in the Mount Rose Wilderness right now. There's lots of places really close to where I am that are super gorgeous. This particular spot just happens to not be one of them. But it's nice to be out in nature anyway, it's fun. All right, I'm gonna flip the camera back around, hold on. Okay, so as you can see, I've chosen a terrible place to do this because the sun is shining directly on, now I'm, can't see, so that's good. All right, so let's just gonna walk along here. I'm in this kind of muddy, I mean, it's not really mud, like, it's just this dry kind of, like, real soft, kind of gooey stuff that I'm, ew, what the hell? Okay, I'm getting out of that. I'm sure there's rattlesnakes up here, so you could be watching me die of rattlesnake bite live on cam. Of course, snakes like me. They wouldn't bite me. I was born in their year. And yeah, everybody knows that animals of nature have a lot of respect for Chinese astrology. They don't fuck with that. So, I see a spot over there at the other side. And I'm heading for it. All right, hold on. This is kind of a silly usage of my battery. So I'm going to turn this off again for a second and I'll be right back. Okay, so there's a log over here, a fallen tree, and it's kind of in the shade. So I sat on this, and this is like a excellent vlogging spot. So I still have about 6.5 miles to hike, and it's getting kind of late in the day, so I'm not going to linger here too long. Keep the hiking in the dark to the minimum, but just wanted to make a quick video since I'm out here. This is something I really like to do. I've been hiking a whole hell of a lot this summer, and I'm really in love with it, so it's good times. I really like being out in nature. You know, it's very peaceful. And you get away from the city with all the noise and all the people and the pollution and the, you know, all the drama. And hiking's good. It's nice exercise, and you're out on the trail, the fresh air and the sunshine and all of the nice views. Last week, or actually it wasn't last week, it was earlier this week, I went and hiked up to a place called Thunder Mountain, which is my second time up there. This summer. I went up there earlier, and then I just took my dad up there earlier this week. And it's a really cool place, and the view from up top of there was amazing. And I wanted to make a video then. It would have been way cooler than making one here at this little mud hole. But it was super windy, and I was with my dad, and I just didn't really think it was a good time to try to make a video. So I'm making one now. And I've brought you with me, or I guess I've brought you out here into nature with me. So this is it. Do you want one more look at Church's Pond from this angle? It's well, I mean, it makes me want to get a great camera and come up here and do some amazing photography. I mean, this is like some Ansel Adams shit up here, or even better, I bring an easel and canvas up here because really, this place is just crying out to be forever immortalized by an artist. All right, hold on. I'm going to show you one more time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still like it. It's nice up here. I mean, I'm up high. Nobody's around. You know, it's still a nice place to be. It's just not quite as beautiful here as many of the places I hike to, let's put it that way. Usually I go up either on a peak, you know, and then I have amazing vistas all around, or I go to someplace like a waterfall or a much more scenic lake, or someplace that's a little more visually stunning. But this is pretty chill. I mean, this is nice, and the hike to get here was really great. And the rest of the hike around this loop, I've done this loop before, and it's a nice hike. It's got some nice uphill climbing parts, and some nice scenery, and it's fun. So I'll enjoy the rest of my hike, even though Church's Pond itself turned out to be a wee bit disappointing. I really like the word wee, like W-E-E, like meaning small. Wee. It's just a wee pond. So anyway, I think I've probably done about enough vlogging here at this location. So I'm going to call it a day here and go finish my hike. But there you go. Thought I'd share a little bit of my enjoyment of nature with you guys. So there it is. This has been Josiah Hikes. Actually, I've been thinking about it. I would sort of love to start doing a little bit of videography when I go on my hikes, especially the cool hikes where I have like actual awesome views to show you and stuff. And maybe even like rate hikes, like do certain trails and like do a little review of the trail, a little video review. And I could show footage from different points along it or something. Like, I don't know. I doubt that any of you are probably all that interested in that, but I still think it might be kind of fun to do. So anyway, whoa, it's all shaky. It's not really an earthquake, folks. It's just my hand. Okay, so there you have it. There's the log I was sitting on. Ooh, pretty exciting. All right, there you go. Good times. And they say I live in a desert. I live on the edge of a desert, I guess. Okay. This has been Josiah Hikes. See you next time. So, I've got to the point on the trail where I am crossing one of the titular creeks. I don't know if this is Jones Creek or White's Creek. I don't remember which one is the more northerly of the two, but this is the more southerly of the two. As you can see, there's not a ton of water in the creek right now. Because we didn't have like a super wet winter this last winter, but there's enough water to at least make some pleasant sounds. I always really enjoy the sound of water going over rocks, creeks and streams and rivers. As you can see, somebody has constructed a cool little crude bridge. I mean, it's probably not really necessary since I could more or less hop over right there, but that's pretty neat. And there the trail continues up that way. This is the way I came from, and you see there's some aspen trees here, which makes me happy because aspens are my favorite trees in the world. They've lost all their leaves, as you can see, which makes them a little less impressive looking, but I love aspens. If you don't have aspens where you live, you're missing out because they're beautiful trees, especially when you're walking through a grove of all aspens and you're just surrounded by the tall white, kind of sheer trunks of them, and then they have their leaves up high, and the leaves are pretty on them. And if you can see aspens at the right time of year when their leaves change color before they fall off, they're so gorgeous. I mean, just going through an aspen grove at that time of year is amazing. And I love them so much because they are the kind of trees that we had a lot of when I would go hiking in Colorado as a child. I did some hiking as a child with my dad or with my dad and mom sometimes, more often just with my dad, but it was really meaningful to me because those were literally the only times in my childhood that weren't awful. The only times that I wasn't sad and miserable and afraid was when we were out hiking. So I have a lot of good nostalgia around hiking and around being in the mountains and around aspen trees. Because those are the times when my parents, if they were both out there, they would chill out, and for just a little while, the duration of a hike, they would stop fighting. And they used to fight all the time, and they'd fight violently, and they'd get crazy. And of course, when we were hiking, they wouldn't be drinking and doing drugs and snorting coke and all that, so they were a lot more chill. And I didn't have to worry about other kids and what they would do to me, getting beat up all the time by bullies. So when I was out in nature hiking, those are the times when I felt safe. Those were the times when, you know, I felt like I was part of a family, and I felt like nothing bad was going to happen to me, and I could just relax. And so hiking still has that kind of effect on me now. You know, I get away from the city and all of the drama that is associated with it and all of the people, and I just get out here and I just enjoy the earth beneath my feet and the rocks and the solidity of them and the trees and the smell of life all around me, and no smell of man-made toxic things, and the sound of birds and the sound of streams like this, and all of it just, it's so relaxing. I mean, it's not just good for me physically as a form of exercise, moving my body through space. I mean, it is that, and the physical good feelings it gives, especially when you hike a nice hard trail, something real steep, you know, going up to a peak or something, and you get exhausted by it, and of course then you get the endorphins, and it's great. But there's a spiritual benefit to it as well, and I don't know what I mean when I say spiritual exactly. I don't necessarily mean something specifically related to, say, any one religion's beliefs or anything, but I just mean something that is good for your metaphorical soul, if not literal one. And it's very therapeutic for me. I find that if I do this, you know, if I go out and I hike, whether I'm alone or with the group, because I've done most of my hiking with like Sierra Club groups or other like hiking meetup groups, and I hike some with my dad once in a while, and I hike by myself sometimes like I am today, but it doesn't matter whether I'm alone or with a group. It really helps me out, keeps my mood level, and kind of helps keep the depression at bay and all that. So I don't know, it's just a beautiful thing, and I'm really fortunate that I am able to get out here and do this and enjoy this. So that's it. I wanted to just stop and say a few more words and show you this lovely creek, either Jones Creek or White's Creek. I don't know which one. And show you the aspen trees. As you see, somebody has carved, you know, things into these aspen trees, names and some dates and various things like that. Of course, you see that a lot with aspen trees, especially the bigger ones like these, and especially if they're in places like this, right by a trail or something. People will stop and do that, which is fine with me. You know, it doesn't bother me. I don't think of it as like defacing nature. I just think of it as humans leaving their mark, and we are, after all, part of the ecosystem too. It doesn't hurt the tree in any appreciable way, and it doesn't degrade the ecosystem around here or anything, so I don't really have a problem with it. Anyway, that's it. Once again, this has been Josiah Hikes. See you later. Hey, guess who's back? It's me, still hiking. I just came to a cool little spot here, and I thought I'd show you. So check this out. Yeah, so here I am. I'm hiking along the trail, right? I came from that way. I'm going that way. I'm most certainly not going up that way, and I'm also most certainly not going down that way. But there's I recently crossed over the second of the two creeks, so that's the other one, either Jones or White's, whichever the first one wasn't. And so you see it down there, down below me. You know, it's a pretty good steep drop down there to it. And then up above, look at these trees. Look at those bright yellow leaves. I mean, they look a lot more impressive in person than they're going to look on this video, I'm sure. But I'm just walking along here, you know, up above the stream. The stream's going by down below, and then you've got this bank of awesome bright yellow trees right there. And it's just, you know, it's just cool. I just like it. So I thought I would stop and take another super fast video just so you could see what I'm seeing here. All right, that's it. This has still been Josiah Hikes. See you next time. Hi again, Josiah. So I am at a pretty cool spot. I'm at the last high point that I'm going to be at, because now it's just, I'm going to go down, and I'm only about a mile from the trailhead, so I'm almost done. I'm like 90% done with the hike, but I just came up this steep climb up to the top of this ridge. But it's pretty cool. You can see a lot from up here, although not everything. It's not a perfect vista. You can't see all of Reno or anything, but yeah, so I'll show you what there is to see up here. As you can see, it's pretty dark. I'm about probably 25 minutes or maybe so into civil twilight. So I'm probably, realistically at this point, I'm probably entering into nautical twilight. Did you know there's three kinds of twilight, three distinct phases of twilight after the sun officially sets? Yeah, there's civil twilight, nautical twilight, and astronomical. Astronomical? Yeah, astronomical twilight. And each one is 1/3 of the time between when it sets and the time when all of the sunlight is out of the sky. And they're named that for different reasons, but I'm not going to go into a whole lesson about it right now. Anyway, let me switch the camera around real quick. Okay, so you can't see much because obviously it's dark, but you can see some lights over there. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at my camera screen and I've noticed you really can't see jack, but I'm up pretty high, and all those lights over there, that's Reno down below. Part of Reno. You can't see downtown Reno because this big ridge here is in the way, but you can see part of Reno over there. And this is where the direction, oh yeah, you can't see anything aiming the camera that way. So the only other thing I've noticed, you can see the top of Mount Rose from here. If you look, it's not, man, you can barely see, I mean, you can barely see it on this, but it's silhouetted up there. There's a part of that mountain, and it doesn't look as high as this part just to the right, because this part just to the right, this ridge is right here next to me, and Mount Rose is way off in the distance. But if you see that little part that almost looks like a person's face laying down, you see several little contours that look like it could be a forehead, then a nose, then lips, then a chin. Well, that is the top of Mount Rose, which is the highest mountain around here, highest mountain near Reno. It's like 10,776 feet, I think. And the nose of that little face is the high point. And I've hiked up to there 4 times this summer. It's gorgeous up there. I mean, you can see everything around, because there is no higher point of land anywhere nearby. So when you're up there, you can see a great distance in every direction. And of course, you look down, you're looking at Lake Tahoe. You can see most of Lake Tahoe from up there. It's gorgeous. So anyway, that's Mount Rose. And this is a terrible way to show it to you here, silhouetted in the dark with no light from really far away, but nonetheless, that's it. And there's part of Reno. Anyway, so I've got about a mile to go, and it's getting darker and darker. So, I mean, I have a headlamp and a flashlight if I need them, so it's not a big deal. But I should probably go and get back to my car. Anyway, that's it. This is the last video of this hike, I promise. So this has been Josiah Hikes. I'll see you next time.